Okay, welcome everybody. We are going to be talking about the update that is coming to Blackboard within the next week or so. And it's an update to the inline grading features. So the Blackboard has developed a new tool called Blackboard Annotate. And is everyone able to see my slides here? Okay. So Blackboard is developed a new part. It's a piece of the assignments feature that allows for the inline grading. And so there's going to be improved annotation tools for Blackboard assignments, inline grading. So if anybody doesn't know, I'm Jeff Maston. I'm with the Teaching and Learning Center. And so let's go ahead and jump into this information so you know what's upcoming, so the new tools you'll be able to use for the upcoming semester. Okay, so what's being updated? So Blackboard's assignment feature is being improved. And again, if you use the assignment feature already, the basic workflow, of Blackboard's assignment tool will remain unchanged. So you don't have to relearn how to use the assignment feature. Nothing will change in the way you create an assignment or in the way the students submit an assignment. You will see updated features while you're grading the assignment, though, in the browser. And it's not a drastic change. It's just improvements on kind of the types of tools that you were used to using if you use the inline grading, but they've made some nice improvements to the tool. So when you view the student's attempt, the part of the screen that displays the student's work and allows you to grade it in the browser, that's what's being updated. The tools for commenting, highlighting, and marking up the document in the browser, those are all being improved. So I'm not going to go over how to create an assignment at this part. At the end, I will, if there's interest in upseeing how to set up an assignment, I can go over that at the end. But I just want to concentrate on the pieces of the update that are new. So I'm going to be focusing on the grading of the assignments with the inline grading features. And so to do that, you go to the full, so once a student has submitted their papers to you, you go to the full grade center. So the control panel, grade center, full grade center. And then when a student has turned in something, you see the needs grading icon. And you click the drop down chevron for that beside the cell for the paper that you want to start grading. And it pops up with select the attempt from the drop down menu. So you click on the attempt from this submenu that pops up. So that's the context of where we're at, where these new features are going to be. And here's what it looks like currently. So that portion of the screen where the student's paper displays, where you can read what they've submitted in the file, like right on the screen, this is what's being updated. So you see where it says box, and you have a few icons over here for adding comments or drawing on the document. This is what's being updated. So this toolbar and the whole part that actually displays the paper is what's being updated. So new box view is what has been referred to in the past, and it's called new box view because it replaced an earlier tool. If you guys, any of you remember from way back, it was called Crocodoc. That part of the screen said Crocodoc on it. So these were kind of third-party tools that Blackboard made use of and incorporated into Blackboard. And Crocodoc got bought out by somebody, and Blackboard couldn't use it any longer, and they moved over to Box, this new box view. which is kind of a similar service to Dropbox or Google Drive, but so they were making use of tools from Box, but there were things about it that they didn't have control over since it wasn't their Blackboard's own tool. So things they didn't like about how it was working, there wasn't a lot they could do. So they have developed their own tool now. So this is what it's going to look like then. So if you go to grade a student's paper, so you see the change. Instead of that white box toolbar, you'll see this black toolbar. So this is Blackboard Annotate is what they've called it. And again, this whole section of the screen that displays the student's paper, that's all being improved. So it's now Blackboard's own tool that makes this part of the screen, makes this part of the assignment grading operate instead of making use of that new box view. So I'm going to get into the buttons and things and the features. I'll do a demonstration here in a second. But again, so this is what we're talking about. This is the type of thing we're talking about doing here. So like without having to download the paper, you can highlight things, cross things out, draw, insert stamps and images. You have a lot of nice tools for marking up the document. And again, I'll get into a demonstrate. The demonstration portion will be easier to go. You'll be easier to see like how this is done. But this is what we're talking about. These are the improvements that are coming. So for the document to be able to display on the screen like that, like students can turn in any type of file, and you can still retrieve it, download it, and open it. But the ones that open on the screen are limited to what's listed here. So you have Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel, Open Office documents, digital images. So it doesn't have to be just a paper or a spreadsheet or whatever. People can turn in images, and you can mark on those if you have different sorts of assignments you need to do besides just a paper. Source code. So if you're a programming instructor, you can mark up, like you can view their source code right on the screen within Blackboard and grade it without having to open the file, if that's something you would like to do. And you can use the annotation tools to score those or to mark those up. Medical images, those three, I'm not familiar with the medical image file types, but those are the three medical image file types that it is able to handle. And then PDF, PSD, so I think that's a Photoshop document, file type, rich text format, text, and then WPD. I don't know if that's, I didn't look that one up, sorry. Yeah. But all of these all these file types will display on the screen, and you'll be able to use these annotation tools. And so before I get into the demonstration part, I just want to give you go over some of the details of the upgrade that's happening to introduce these new tools. So we are scheduled to receive the update sometime between August 10th and 14th. It's being rolled out, and the group that we're in is the group that we're in is scheduled within this block of time, but we don't know that we won't be given an exact time when it's going to happen. So sometime within that time frame, we'll see it change over. There's no downtime for this update, so we do have an update scheduled separate from this, where we have some 12 hours of downtime. That's August 8th, 9 p.m. through 9 a.m. the next morning. So we do have some downtime coming up, but that's not related to this. And that update, almost all of that is back end things that you won't the things that you won't see any difference in the Blackboard interface. So, but this Blackboard Annotate update, it's separate from that, and it will not involve any downtime. It'll happen a few days later. And again, so Blackboard, one of their they have their main their main way of providing service is an always on SaaS hosted environment, and so they've designed this so that it can be done without any downtime. And so existing notes that were created in new box view will not be lost. So if you have concerns about being able to look back at last semester, they'll be carried forward into Blackboard Annotate. And so I know there aren't too many classes running in this time frame, but even if you happen to be grading a paper using inline grading while the update was taking place, your comments and annotations will be saved. So again, it's designed to the upgrade will just happen to this new box view like live while we're using the system, and it'll let you finish up doing what you were doing in new box view, but then what you finished would be converted to the Blackboard Annotate format just after you finished it. Okay, so now I'm going to get into I'm going to switch over to sharing my browser and do a demonstration of Blackboard Annotate in action here. So see if I can. And everybody's seeing my screen all right? Okay, thank you. So here I am in a Blackboard site, and this is on our test server, so it looks a little different than our Blackboard setup, the color scheme and such of our Blackboard system, but it's going to be the same for Blackboard Annotate. So I'm in a content area right here, and so this is where I've got some assignment links that I've set up. So this is where the students would come to be able to turn in the assignment. So they could click on the assignment link, and then they could browse their computer to find their paper that they've written and upload it and hit submit to submit it. So once they'd submitted their papers, the instructor can go into the control panel of their course. I mean, you can see the things in the needs grading area, but I'm going to show from the full grade center. So we've got the full grade center here, and so all of these exclamation points are things that have been turned in that require my attention, that need grading. So I'm going to click the drop down next to the paper that I want to grade, and then I'm going to choose, like, you can allow more than one attempt on the assignment feature if you want them to be able to turn in the paper more than once within the same column, or turn in more than one thing. And I'm gonna click on the attempt button, or the attempt menu item. Again, so this loads, and so again, that's the same process as what we've do currently. It's just now we've got this new nice set of tools instead of the one or two buttons and things. There's a new set of tools here for actually working with the document in the browser and being able to annotate the document, add comments and such. And so the first thing I want to show is that this button over here, it's not actually part of the main toolbar here, but this button over here expands the grading area so that you're looking just more at the document instead of the rest of some of the other Blackboard things. And you can actually, even further than that, you can collapse the grading panel if you want to give yourself even more screen real estate. So I'm gonna bring the grading panel back up. And then if I wanted to switch back, so when I was done marking up the document or reading the document, I can click restore, click that button again, and it takes it back, it pops it back into place so that I can work with other parts of the screen if I wanted to. And notice though, like the menu changes as I resize things. So right here, I've got a grouped button of annotation tools. So there's like a drawing tool and a marking, or like a image tool and a text box. So these things are gathered together here, but when I made this full screen, it adjusted the menu so that those things could display. So so the toolbar is sensitive to the size of your browser, the size of how it's displaying on the screen, and it adjusts. So sometimes if you're looking at it in a smaller view, there might be a second drop down to find the tool that you are looking for. But I think it's handy to be to just first thing when you're grading the paper to click on this maximize button. Okay, getting into the toolbar here, there's some nice buttons for being able to change the size of the document and change the view of the document. So if I want to zoom out or zoom in, and if I zoom it so that it is like not all on the screen at once, this hand icon is the pan mode, so I can grab the document and move it around. So I'm clicking and dragging to move the document around with that pan mode. But this is nice. This is handy right here. But you can click this drop down and you can do fit to page. You can do fit width or best fit. So I found it handy when to just quick come up here and do best fit. When I start making notes and so on, the best fit is the one that I've found that useful for me. But it's nice, so you don't have to mess with zooming in and zooming out to the but you can still, if you want to make it a little bit bigger, you can zoom in and zoom out. Now, there's also controls for moving between the pages of the document. You can still do that by scrolling down, but if you want to jump to a specific page of the document, if what you're interested in looking at is at the end, you can page through the pages quickly with those buttons. Okay, and there is also an extra pane that will open up over here. If I click on this, there's a thumbnail view of each page, and you can jump to the pages using the thumbnail view. There's an outline view, and I have not figured out yet, like so far, anything that I've loaded in hasn't had anything in outline view, so that I am not certain on when the outline actually displays. I did try loading some documents that had made use of header, like heading 1, heading 2, and so on, and it didn't. I thought maybe it would recognize that, but in my experiment with it, I haven't figured out how an outline gets in there. But this third option here, once you've put annotations in, and maybe we'll look at that after I have put some annotations in, this third option would list, I'll be a list of the annotations you've added. That would let you kind of navigate the document based on that. So I can click on that again to shut that extra pane. Okay, so here, this section right here has my annotation tools. And again, if my monitor wasn't quite this big, or if I was viewing it on the lower mode, some of these tools would be grouped together. Like the comment icon stays visible, but the other ones kind of get grouped together and will require another click to get to if you have a little bit smaller view. And then so I'm gonna start with comments here. Or actually, I'm gonna start. Let me turn off the hand deal. The first thing, like if I want to add a comment, like one way to do that is just to select the thing that you want to make a comment on, and another menu pops up that gives you options to highlight, strike out, underline, or do a squiggly line underneath. And then the last option is add a comment. So that when you do that, it highlights the text that you highlighted, and it gives you a chance to put in a comment. And then to save your comment, then you click on the comment button. If you want to delete the comment after you've added it, you just change your mind about adding it, you can hit the delete icon right here. So I'm gonna demonstrate a few more of those highlight options here. So I'm gonna highlight a portion of the text and say that I want to strike through, so it crossed out that sentence. Again, highlighting, and then so I can underline, I can put a squiggly line underneath, and then the last one was the comment, which I already did. It might be possible, there's a peer review option that we've not really used too much. Pia asked, can students make comments on students' papers? I think that they might be able to do this in the peer review, but I have not tested that. I think it would be possible, but I haven't done a lot of testing with the peer review feature. Okay, so coming back up to the toolbar then. So if I want to add a comment, I can just click the comment icon and click at a point in the document, and then follow the instructions. My comments are probably not going to be as insightful as some of yours would be, but just to give you the idea, you can. And then, so again, when you click the icon for the comment, it just lets you pop it into one spot. It doesn't do that highlighting along with it. See me after class. I don't know. Okay, so when you do the comments from the toolbar, it just puts this little icon in, and then it adds the comment off to the side. But if you wanted to do a comment on a particular section, I'd recommend highlighting the section first, and then hitting the comment icon from this right here. Okay, the other tools that you have, the pen icon, and when you click it, you can choose, you have a lot of choices about what you, here, let me scroll down to a new part of the screen. So there's, if you click the drop down, you can do drawing, brush, or eraser. So I'm going to do the drawing tool. I'm going to do the drawing tool, and I can choose what color. So if I want to use my red pen, I can get my red pen out, and I can just start marking on the document using the pen. So clicking and dragging. You do have options about to do some of the settings for the tool here, besides just changing color. So, and again, I let you play with these, and I think there's there's kind of like a style setting here that I've not played with, but again, so you can adjust how the pen appears by using these settings. Do the brush. So the brush starts out as a larger thing, and you can kind of use that as the highlighter. You might want to bump the size down. So if you want to highlight part, you can do it that way. But again, if you want to highlight here, and I hit the escape key, so like right now I still have the highlighter tool turned on. I think you can click on it again to shut it off, or you can hit the escape key, is what I've sometimes done. If you highlight, again, if you highlight the text, you do have that option of highlighting a little neater. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. You've got kind of two different ways to go about highlighting things. So the brush kind of, I think, functions somewhat as a highlighter, but just highlighting text, you can select the text and choose the highlighting option. And then there's the eraser. So if you get a little carried away with your highlighting, you can erase what you've done using the eraser. But you can also click on something. Let's see. It is possible to select things, and when they're selected, you can hit the trash icon right here, or hit the delete key on the keyboard. So here, let me choose. So I can. I'll get rid of this squiggly thing. Are you sure you want to delete this annotation? So I hit the delete key, but I could have hit this icon up here. Okay, and so I got rid of it, and I okay, so moving on. This allows you to insert images or a stamp. There's a number of preset stamps. I'll start with the stamps first. So there is approved, draft, confidential, so on. So it's like basically little word stamps, a check mark and an X, initial here, sign here. So anyway, so these stamps are available. You can set up your own. I think we don't have the ability to, but there is kind of an option to create your own. But here I'm going to hit approved, and so it just puts, it's basically an image, and then you can kind of like resizing things in Microsoft Word. You have the handles for resizing the image. So You have those stamps, and then you can also insert an image, and I've prepared a smiley face. There you go. And again, it goes over the top of the text. You can resize it, but this takes me back kind of to grade school where getting a smiley face sticker was a big deal. For your smiley face sticker on your assignment meant you did a good job. So again, there might be more practical uses as far as like having, I guess you could, if you wanted to grade using memes, grade entirely using memes, there's your there's your opportunity so you can insert whatever image you have saved to your computer, you can insert there. So we've gone over the drawing one, we've gone over the images and stamps, we've gone over the comment icon, the text. Now let me get down to a, so you can insert a text box. And again, you have options here for changing the size of the font, the size and the font, and so on, the font color. So if for some reason you want to like type some text that's visible right on the screen, instead of using a comment that gets inserted like this and shows up on the side, you can, if you can find a nice blank piece of the screen, you can type some text there. Again, I haven't played with all of some of these settings, but again, you can change the text wrap within the text box. Next tool on our list, we can draw lines and arrows, rectangles, and other shapes. So if I want to underline something, like I can draw the line, and again, I have the option to change its color or change how thick the line is by this slider or typing it here. And again, I haven't, oh, you can actually change the style of the line with these. I hadn't played with those before. So that's the line tool, arrow tool, rectangle. You can draw a rectangle around, and again, you can change the color and so on. And you can use some of these things in combination with the comment. So you can draw the box around it and then click to add a comment to explain why you drew the box there. Let's see. Oh, let's find some blank real estate here. Ellipse lets you draw a circle or oval. The polygon yeah, Cheryl says we need to be careful about the colors. Some students are colorblind. Yellow is a good one to use. And then, so the polygon lets you draw, like each time you click with the polygon tool, it was adding a point to the shape that I was drawing. And then the polyline, so each time I click, it continues the line. So yeah, so I've made a mess. I've made a mess of this paper, but you can see there's you have a lot of options for marking up the paper, drawing students' attentions to different sections of the paper, providing feedback in the terms of comments and so on. Now, again, well, one thing with the comments box, like I did find out that I typed a comment and then I didn't hit this button to save it. So I did find that, I mean, that's clicking that button is what saves the comment. So I did find that you want to do that. Um, so you want to see with your comments, you want to see it with this timestamp and your name and the comment to let you know that the comment is saved. And all of this gets saved like as you're going. I've tried like browsing away from the page and coming back. The work that I had done was still saved, and I hadn't finished grading. But say now I'm finished. Or actually, I wanted. There's I guess a couple more buttons I didn't cover. So if you, it has a built-in print icon for being able to print the document. This I tested the student. It doesn't let them respond to the comments in that comment box. It looked like it looks like the next student can add a comment, but I did test that, and it doesn't give the students the opportunity. I think it just lets you continue adding, or maybe if possibly if there was more than one instructor, the other instructor could add a comment, but I haven't tested the multiple instructor thing, but the students weren't able to, and I'll pull it up in the student view so you can see what the student sees here in just 1 second. So the print just lets you print the document, and the download button, this lets you or the student download the paper with the annotations in place, so that so the student can and again, so the comments show up like this, so they have to hover over to read. But then the various shapes, the text that I put, the underlines, the boxes, that all shows up in the PDF file. If you want to download, let's make sure I don't shut the whole thing. Okay. If you want to download the original paper, you'll want to do that from over on the right side of the screen over here. You can click this download or click here, and it would let you download the original paper without your annotations, but like this lets you download the annotations. And one last button to cover. This lets you search the document. So if you have a Word document or so on, you can, let's see, search for like a word in the document, and it's highlighting. I type picture, and it's highlighting picture. So if I want to try and jump to a particular spot in the document using search, you can search the text of the document using this icon up here. Does the paperclip in the upper left corner? I do not know. Here, let me give this a score. So let me finish this off. I don't think it is related to the. Just 1 second. Let me give this paper a score here. So the 45 points out of 50 points. You can still give feedback to the learner. This shows up as a comment that's more distinct in the grade book. I'll show the student point of view in a second. Nice work. See open the document to see my notes or whatever. So I'm going to hit submit. And then it moves on to allow me to start grading the next student's paper. So I'm gonna go sign out as the instructor, and I'm gonna sign in as a student real quick. Try to. And so this is the student point of view. This is, oh, I signed in with the wrong person. Sorry about that. So this is where they could submit the assignments, but they can see in my grades, they can see, so I think this is the one that I just graded. This icon right here is that last comment that I typed in that side panel comment box. Nice work, open the document to see my notes. And again, if you're going to use this, it isn't always super clear to the student how to access the paper. So this is something to be aware of. You want to give some pretty clear instructions that they can click on the name of the assignment, and that's actually the link for them to be able to view what you've done. And so you might, it didn't change the pointer to a hand icon. So you might, so it's not always clear to the students that that's how they get to the document. But so you might want to emphasize that you have marked up the document and you want them to click on the link of click on the name of the document in the grade book to get to it. But you can see, so here the student can see the things that you've done with your comments. I didn't use this before, but so there's the list of the annotations in the document, which, so I'm not sure really how useful this panel thing is, but it does let you see the list of annotations. And again, the student can also do what you did and maximize the document. They can do best fit so they can be able to read the document and see the comments on the side, or they can zoom in and zoom out. They have the same controls, but they can't add annotations, and they can't reply to the comments or anything like that. But they can see what you've done, and all those things that you added to the document. They can see all that here. And again, they have that option of downloading and viewing it all as a PDF. Again, the comments are these yellow icons that show up as a Post-it note. So, so I'm gonna try and, okay, so kind of reaching the end of our time, but I'm gonna try and answer questions. And again, if people want to, if I didn't cover like how to create an assignment, which I'm willing to cover that for anybody who isn't super familiar with the assignment feature to begin with, but I want to answer questions first, and then I can circle back to creating assignment if anybody's interested in seeing that. So if you want, you can unmute your mic. It was harder to follow what was going on in the comments than I thought that I would be able to spot those, but I can't multitask apparently. So I'm gonna sign back in as the instructor.
Could you show me where the highlight button is again, please?
Sure. If you just select the text, it gives you the option to highlight. So you grade center or full grade center. Let's get up a fresh student here. Okay. So when I'm in this view, the drawing icons and such are underneath this right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so the pen icon, that's drawing, but if you click the drop down next to it, the brush functions as a highlighter.
Oh, okay.
And you can change settings about it and so on, but it's easier to work with, again, if you have it on a larger screen size. If you use that maximize, and then you have more of your options showing up. And so I could use the brush and set the point size down and do this. But for text, I would recommend, I mean, the easiest way that I found to do it was to click, let's see, click and drag through the text that you want to highlight, then release, and then this first icon is the highlight.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
But
That is easier.
if you want to do a comment with it, it like click and drag through and then click on comment, and then it'll allow you to highlight along with, I mean, doing it that method, it highlights and let you type in the comment. But I'm going to hit
Great. Just exactly what I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Questions?
I saw you open the Blackboard Annotate. Are we going to have both, or will it just automatically be there when we open Blackboard?
Again, it will be there. It's going to be, whenever you do an assignment, it's going to be there. It's not there yet. It will be there sometime between the 10th and the 14th. It'll show up when you just use the assignment feature and you go to grade people. So it's built into the assignment feature, and so it'll be there next week, basically. But for all, I mean, for the upcoming semester, it'll be there. But
and if we have like outside online homework systems already linked to Blackboard, should they still stay linked, or do you think we'll have to redo it?
It won't affect that, no.
Okay, just wanted to be sure.
Yeah. No worries there. Yeah, Nicole posted some links to some information about the assignment feature that we already have on our website. And again, the assignment feature itself is not changing other than these new annotation tools, basically. Anyone else? You can unmute your mic, or I don't know if there was there anything in the, I don't know if I can look. Nicole's been answering some questions. Nicole's been answering questions. So anybody have a question they feel like hasn't been answered? Is anyone interested in? I mean, I can walk through the steps of setting up an assignment if anybody's interested in seeing that part, if they haven't used the assignment feature before. But if you're already familiar with the assignment, so you don't have to stick around for that part. So any last questions on the new Annotate tools or the update that's happening? So if I don't see anyone type in the text that they are interested in seeing a demonstration of setting up the announcement, then I will.
Jeff, this is Leanne.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like that. I would
Okay.
like to go over it.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll move on to that. That as like so one last thing. I will step through the actual setting up of the assignment, which hasn't changed at all with this update. So okay, so here I'm going to actually do that in our current Blackboard system, or our live Blackboard system, rather than on the test server, because the test server has a few things that aren't set up quite the same as that. So this won't have the Blackboard Annotate, but the steps are the same for setting up the assignment. So Blackboard's assignment tool allows students to submit files, and it allows, again, you to grade them inline on the screen like we just did, like we've just been doing. So to set up an assignment, you go to the area of the course where you want to add the assignment. And so with edit mode turned on, as the instructor with edit mode turned on, you'll see these buttons across the top, and the assessments drop down has an option for letting you start creating an assignment. Okay, so the first blank, there's only 2 required fields. You have to give your assignment the name, and you have to tell how many points possible you want the assignment to be. But there are a lot of optional fields that I'll step through real quick here. So if I want to create an assignment, which will create a link for the students to turn things in within our Blackboard site. So I might give it a name, homework 4. And you can give the instructions here. Sometimes, just depending on how you've structured your course, you might want to have like all of the instructions for what you expect them to do on the assignment here. So instructions can be here. So you can tell the student what you expect them to do. And then you can attach, if there are file attachments that are required for the student to complete the assignment, you can browse your computer and attach them, or you can drag the file from your computer and drop it into this dotted line area, and it will upload it and then attach it. You can set due dates for the assignment, and due dates are it's not required that you fill that in here, but it does add some prompts and things for the students, automated prompts for the students within Blackboard if you make use of due dates. I'm going to leave that blank right for this example. And so points possible, this is the other required field. So if this is a 50-point homework assignment, I'll type the 50 points there. Blackboard has a rubric feature that you can have rubrics set up for scoring assignments or things. If you wanted to attach a rubric, you could use this drop down to do that. And then I want to open up submission details here. And assignment type, individual submission is what you'd want to leave it set at normally. But if you're doing a group assignment, you have groups set up in your course, you can set it up so that the groups turn in one paper together. You can say how many attempts that you want to allow the students to have at the assignment, so they can submit the file. If they mess up and they forget to attach something, or if they realize they submitted the wrong thing, you can allow them to have more than one attempt to turn things in. You might tell them that you only look at the last attempt, so you don't have to look at the 5 mistakes that they made before that. So you can set a number of attempts if you do multiple attempts, or you can allow unlimited attempts. I'm going to leave it set to single attempt. And then just where that drop down was in the grade book, when you're grading it, you would see a list of attempts submitted at different times instead of just the one attempt that you were seeing in the examples I was showing. And plagiarism tools. So Blackboard has a safe assign, which is it checks what the students submit, the text of what students submit against various databases and things to, and other student submissions and so on, to try and find, uh, check for plagiarism, or to like, I mean, it'll pull up like for if students are supposed to be citing sources and things and they haven't cited them, it would highlight some of the sources and things. So I'm not going to turn that on for this example, but that is an option that's available, and you can have some settings for Safe Assign to allow students to view the reports that are generated, or if it's a rough draft, you can exclude the rough draft from being submitted to the databases, so that when they've turned in their final draft, it doesn't show up as being a copy of the original draft. So I didn't really change anything here, but I just wanted you to see that. And then you have some options for grading, which I guess if you wanted to grade anonymously, like, so this gets kind of more complicated. So if you're just learning the announcement tool, I would recommend maybe looking into this or talking to us about using these features before you jump into it. But you can have it so that it's the student's name, the student, it's you can't tell whose paper you're grading. If you like instruct them not to put their name on in the file they submit, you can have it set so that you don't know who you're grading, to kind of take away a bias that might be there for or against a particular student. And then display of grades. So include, again, these are settings, these are the default settings of the grade book, and you can also change these in the Grade Center. But you can adjust how the things show up in the grade book to the students right here as you're creating it. And then availability. So again, whether the assignment is available to the students or not. So, and then I'm just going to hit submit here in a second. But so basically, the main thing, like the basics, is fill in the name of the assignment, give instructions for what you want them to do for the assignment here, and type in the points possible, and then hit submit. So really there's two required things. You can do it super quick if you don't want to mess with some of those other things, but if you want to use things like Safe Assign and so on, then you open up some of those other menus. But so I'm just going to hit submit, and down at the bottom here, that added my homework 4 link. So again, here's where it says instructions can be here. This could have been multiple paragraphs, and there could have been an attachment with some further instructions or so on. But the students then can just click on this link, and so this is what they would see. So again, the instructions that you typed in would appear in this portion of the screen. The points possible are displayed for them there, and they have the option to browse their computer, or like browse a service like Google Drive to find their file that they want to submit, and then hit submit. They can add comments if they want to comment on the assignments, like, I'm sorry this is late, or I don't think I understood such and such. They can add comments. This isn't where they turn in their work. This is just comments about the assignment. And so they would hit submit. And I want to point out, there is this place where they can actually write their submission on the screen, and they can type things in here. But I meant to point this out earlier, but if they do that, this shows up and displays on the screen in the Blackboard annotate area of the screen, but it doesn't actually allow you to annotate on top of it. So if you want to like be able to use the annotation tools, you want to make sure that you give them the instruction that you need them to upload in one of the appropriate file types rather than typing it right here, because you won't be able to annotate on top of something if they do this. So, but and again, so then the students click that link to submit it, and then you go to the grade center, full grade center, and then so that's where you see their work. So if I scroll over to the edge here, here's the homework 4 column that was connected to that. So every time you create one of those assignment links, it creates a column in the grade center, and then when students turn things in, it'll show up as needs grading, and then you can click on the drop down. And so this is where Blackboard Annotate comes in. What we covered is all at this point. And again, this is on our current system. It has, right now it just has these few controls, but next week or so, so sometime between the 10th and the 14th, this will be replaced with that black menu bar that I was talking about. So, all right. If there's any questions on that, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.
Jeff, this is Leanne Hostat. So over the summer, I created assignments on my template, and I think following your how to create an assignment presentation you just did, I think I followed the rules correctly and the process correctly. But when I went to copy my template that I worked on to my upcoming fall course,
Okay.
Excuse me, I'm going to shut the door.
I think I know what you're. I know where you're going with it.
It didn't seem to come.
Yeah, like you got to copy the grade center. Like you saw how the assignment created the column in the grade center.
I saw in my upcoming fall course in the grade center, apparently the assignment went into the grade center on the template because the grade center showed up with those assignments, because I renamed them, because I changed them a little bit to meet virtual needs.
Sure.
So the new name showed up in the grade center. I just can't find like the point system. I can't find the assignment. Where did it go?
Yeah, we can look at that with you if you want to.
Okay, so I'll just do a private session with you then?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, if you want to just connect with us through email, we can, one of us can get with you and look at it with you.
Okay.
But yeah, well, when you're copying your course, things that have a grade center component, like the assignment feature, like for the assignment feature to be able to work, there has to be a column in the grade center to go with it. So sometimes when you are trying to do various methods of copying, if it's not copying the content area that has the assignment along with the grade center columns, then
okay,
like,
so
when you get to the new course, there's no assignment there, like so some things like that got left behind.
Okay, because I also created a rubric within the assignment assessment assignment tab.
Sure.
And when I went to, I guess, course tools or wherever that,
or the rubrics are,
the rubrics are there.
Okay.
The rubrics came, but I don't know where the assignments went. So that should be an easy fix.
Well, we can look at it with you, but
okay. Or I might have,
I don't know. It just depends. I think.
Okay.
I mean, if it didn't get copied, then it might be a matter of
just having to do it again.
Having to set them back up so you can copy the text of the assignments one at a time or whatever. But like assignments, you don't have a lot of options for how to copy them because of that need.
Okay.
because you don't want to copy the whole grade center again
No.
into the new course, because that would kind of create a mess of columns that you'd have to clean up. So if it doesn't come over the first time, I think we'll have to look at it, but the best route is probably going to have to be copying the text of the assignments.
Okay, because I
separately
think
and
I
create
think
them again.
I did create the assignment correctly, but I thought maybe I didn't because it didn't come. But okay, I'll contact you individually. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and stop